In this interview, I visited Jane Davidson, Director of Inspire at University of Wales Trinity St David. I asked Jane what it takes to get sustainability truly embedded in both the hearts and minds of the way that a large institution does business. Having been at Trinity for 2.5 years with a very firm remit around setting up Inspire to drive change within the university as well as outside, frame the overall journey for us overall, and then maybe talk through what the major learning points have been that other organisations in the private sector as well as the public sector can think about how we do this sustainability piece at a joined up level in Wales.
The university is very focused on offering a really high quality student experience, and therefore issues around the environment are tended to be, are the flower beds nicely weeded, and they haven't really thought about the fact that because the heating systems have been in place for a huge number of years and they worked sporadically, that what was happening was that people were sitting in t-shirts in the middle of the winter with windows wide open, and not only were therefore carbon emissions into the atmosphere, but also costing the university huge amounts of money. And I think one of the key things that happened when I came is that we were able to look at all those elements. We were able to look at the fact that we could be much more environmentally responsible in terms of our estate, and that would save us money. And it would also make us much more attractive to students of the future, because it would say something about the kind of university experience we were offering. We looked at our curriculum, and we were helped by the fact that we were going through a major change by merging actually 5 institutions over 3 years. And that meant we could look at our curriculum and think, were we giving employers what they wanted? Were we creating the new generation of problem solvers? Were we creating critical thinkers? Were our students getting any understanding of the major challenges of the 21st century? And could we articulate that? Could we say how that was being done? And we couldn't.
So the outcome was a really strong driver right from the start in terms of the way that you started that process?
Very much outcomes rather than outputs. I mean, it would be easy to say, well, we set up a sustainability committee, which we did, and that we asked people to report on what they're doing, which we have, and that therefore that reporting was enough. But no, ours was actually creating an evidence base about what we do. So, for example, on curriculum reporting, we made a commitment that 15% of the whole of students' university experiences would be through a sustainability lens. And hopefully by the time people might be watching this, I will be able to give chapter and verse on just how much on every single module and course that students do is being seen through a sustainability lens. We'll have a strong evidence base by doing a detailed curriculum audit. You've also got to work with your staff, and the first thing that we did when I came was to talk to the staff about whether they were up for this agenda, what it meant to them, did they understand what sustainability was about, did they want to be part of it, and what kind of skills could they bring, or what kind of training did they need. And that work has created an open source model that is available to any part of the public sector in Wales or elsewhere, as a way of getting staff on board, identifying those training needs, looking at those skills and using all those to help embed sustainability throughout the institution. So for me it was threefold in the university. It was about getting the staff on board and the governors on board and the students on board. It was about looking at our estate and making sure that we create the right kind of environmental management systems that are also going to save the university money. And it was looking fundamentally at what we offer as an institution and making sure that that offer not only was about our current curriculum, but also looked at what the university is not yet teaching, is not yet researching, and looking at whether others are doing so, and if not, should we be doing it here? And as a result, we're having some 147 new modules will be starting at this university in September. We'll be developing a new school of sustainable architecture. we'll be developing our new campus in SA1 in Swansea with the support of the Building Research Establishment. We'll be bringing countryside management into Lampeter. And so we're creating a new kind of experience that definitely plays to the fact that we are a rural and urban institution, and we are also dual sector. We are college and university working together to create a better relationship between the skills people need in our region and what we can offer as a learning institution.
Just talking about that process of engagement, I mean, it's a phrase that's talked about a lot out in the wider sector about we need to engage people. And setting out to get 15% of the entire content delivered through a sustainability lens is more ambitious than perhaps anyone had even thought about contemplating. How did you actually go about that process? And what's the major learning that you've taken from that others might be able to start thinking about in their own journeys?
I think that the really important aspect was to start with that staff skills survey, because we had some 33% of staff responding to that survey, and out of those over 80% wanted to see sustainability as a key core principle of what the university did, which meant that I knew I was working with a lot of people in the university who shared similar values. We've been able, through working with the governors, to take that through our strategic agenda. And of course, once you've done that, you've got the permission from the top of the university in terms of expanding your offer and creating new opportunities as a result. But similarly, we also worked with students. Students wanted to see more recycling. They wanted to see the university being more responsible. They wanted to work with the university in identifying opportunities. So we created internships on each campus to help support that agenda. So that combination of working with staff and students to give legitimacy to what we did. But we also had fun. I mean, we had a major switch off, so students went galloping around the university checking that every single electrical appliance was off, and could also quantify the benefit to the university as a message to others. We have green impact teams in all our faculties, and those staff and students working together are looking at what they can do in their settings, and it's competitive between them. In the curriculum, people actually found that looking again at the curriculum they might have been offering for some years gave them an opportunity to really think about, the most cutting edge curriculum in their discipline, because we very much do this in discipline. We're not suggesting that there should be a sustainable development module. We're saying that every single discipline needs to be looked at through a sustainability lens. But we help our staff. So we've used a number of models. Professor Stephen Sterling's Fit for the Future framework from Plymouth University, a very, very popular model that staff and students liked engaging with. We've used the 5 pedagogical principles from UNESCO, as led by Professor Daniela Tilbury from the University of Gloucestershire, and some staff have chosen to engage with that. And we've done it by using systemic planning. So all our faculties have faculty plans about where they are now and where they're going to move to. And that's not just in terms of what they teach, it's how they teach, where they teach, when they teach as well. So it is about the content, it's about the pedagogy, and it's about the method of delivery. So we're having fun, and I think that's actually one of the key messages. It's great working in a university where people are absolutely committed to taking this agenda forward, but the reason they're taking this agenda forward is they feel it's ethically right, it's morally right, it's environmentally right, and it secures our children, our students, their potential children, a better future. So it's a big project that we all want to be part of, and it will be a much, much more exciting offer from the university in the future when we focus on more and more courses able to deliver better sustainable outcomes to train and educate the next generation.
So just to finish with 2 questions, one of which is to say, if someone is listening to this thinking and wondering about whether or not they've got the ability to start down a similar kind of journey, and they can look at what you've done and go, well, it's easy for Jane because she was a minister and she's got a lot of expertise here. If someone is starting down the journey but are not sure about whether it was the right thing to do, what reassurance might you give them to say that it's not, that it's okay? And secondly, of all of the learning and all the experiences that you've had here in the last couple of years, what's been the single biggest point of learning for you to take forward and share with others?
I think that it's interesting because in many ways it was not easy for me coming here because I'd been minister, because there was an expectation that what I would do is promote the Welsh Government approach to sustainable development. So it was really important for me to go and sit in the university in an office along with everybody else where people could pop in and have chats, and where I literally went to talk to every single person who ran any kind of part of the organisation to think about, well, what this agenda meant for them. And they had such good ideas. So I think the really important element is actually if you go around your organisation and ask for good ideas about saving money, about avoiding waste, every single person will have ideas. And yet when you come and are able to redefine that as something important in the sustainability agenda, and to see that the collective marshalling of those ideas can create something much bigger across the university, then actually people start getting excited about it. So I think in many ways the biggest learning for me was that I'd been in a position where I could top down say, you must, but actually saying you must won't crack it unless you have a lot of people who say, I want to. And so it was actually bringing together the idea that you can have permission from the top of an organisation to go down a certain route, but that actually people want to go down that route if the organisation gives them enough support to do so. So it's bringing those two things together. Without that kind of inspirational leadership, you're not going to gather people on your journey. But without people being gathered, you're not going to deliver. So all those organisations that think it is sufficient for the top of the organisation to say, we've done sustainable development, they haven't, and they're wrong, unless any person you talk to in the organisation can say, this is what I've done to contribute towards this really important agenda for all our futures.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.